Last week I came from a beautiful wedding of my brother Yohei and Yuko. Congratulations, Mr. and Mrs. Wada, officially. And gosh, I haven't attended a wedding that beautiful in a long, long time. And it was beautiful not because it was ostentatious or, that they had many frills and, that it was like a show-off wedding. It wasn't. It was actually very simple and elegant. And for those who saw the pictures that I posted, it was so fresh and clean and bright and light. The way weddings should be. First thing that I appreciated about that wedding is the simplicity. No? The bride, Yuko, was so beautiful. Beautiful because she looked like herself. Sometimes you see brides who overdo it and you don't recognize them anymore. And they feel so uncomfortable behind thick makeup and huge gowns that they can't even walk. Um, Yuko, on the other hand, my sister-in-law, kept it simple. She emphasized what was already beautiful about her. And she was so comfortable and at ease. And she looked like a cloud. And that made me really happy that she didn't overdo anything, but she just highlighted what was already beautiful about her. So advice to the future brides there, keep it simple. And hopefully what your groom will see down the aisle is still you, right? Okay. Second thing, there are many things. I like that, it was a non-Catholic wedding, and being a Catholic, it's very important for me that in a wedding, that God is the center. But of course, I wasn't expecting that in my brother's wedding, and yet I was pleasantly surprised. The pastor, the officiant, mentioned God. And it was parang doon ko na-realize na a wedding is never complete without God in the center, no? He mentioned very simple things, but for a couple who is non-Christian, non-Catholic, for him to mention God, God is love, and that they are born out of love and created to love. And he even mentioned Jesus. That made me tear up in the ceremony. This happened in Tokyo. So it was expected that, it's gonna be a non-Christian wedding. And yet, God made a way to include himself through the officiant in the ceremony. And that's what I want for my brother and my sister-in-law. For them to, to recognize at least that there is a supreme being that brought them together. And because of that, though it was not a church wedding, it made me, the ate, the older sister, feel very, very grateful, very blessed. Ay, salamat Lord, nandito ka. 'Di ba? So, yon. That was the second thing. I'm so glad that somehow, through the officiant, God played the central role in that ceremony. Third thing, bowing. Do you know that the Japanese don't hug and kiss much, but they bow a lot, right? And it was the first time after a long, long time that I appreciated the value of bowing. Bowing. Full bow. When the couple entered the reception area, they made a full bow. It was like a good 3-4 seconds in front of all of us guests. Kadalasan kasi dito sa Pilipinas, yung focal point, yung couple na pinapalakpakan natin, di ba? Parang the attention's on them. But when I saw my brother and sister-in-law bow, like all the way bow, and hold it for a good few seconds, it was them honoring the guests. That was naiyak ako dun. I got teary-eyed over that moment when they entered the doors. We were all clapping and they just bowed with all humility. Thank you for coming. Thank you for being part of our lives, for being part of our love story. That's the fourth highlight of their wedding, no? The wedding was not so much about them. Even though it was a celebration of them, they shifted the focus on us, on the people who brought them together. The whole wedding was all about gratitude, about thanking people. Which brings me to the next point. During the cutting of the cake, which, all customs, pretty much all customs are used to. They cut the cake, they feed each other, and then that huge cake is left alone, right? First of all, their cake was just the right size, and it had the flags of Japan and Great Britain, or the UK, because they are a mixture of both cultures. They fed each other cake. It was a funny moment because they fed each other huge chunks of cake, which I appreciated. It's a symbol of, feeding each other with abundance and blessings. But it didn't end there. They called their mothers. Including my stepmom's older sister, who also plays the role of Tokyo mom, the mom, parang surrogate mom of my brother while he is in Japan. So there were three moms in front, and wait, let me check if I'm okay. I still have time. So, so they invited their moms in front, and the husband and wife, groom and bride, they cut a piece of cake and they fed their moms. Very simple gesture, no? But I was smiling and laughing and teary-eyed at the same time. Just the humility of their children. It's their turn now to feed and to thank the very first people who fed them. It was so touching. And the cake didn't go to waste. That whole cake was shared. We all got to eat that strawberry shortcake. It was so delicious. I mean, again, to the future brides and grooms out there, share nyo naman yung cake, di ba? Sayang naman yung 7-10 tiered cake nyo if it's just going to be thrown or put to waste. That cake really went a long way. It was a symbol of abundance and feeding each other, taking care of each other. It was also used to say thank you to the first women who fed them. And it was also a sharing of blessings with everybody who was there. So cake cutting was very significant for me. I don't know what number I'm in now, number 5 or number 6. Okay. What else did I appreciate? Oh yeah, I was having my lunch. We were all eating already, and all of a sudden, I was asked to go in front. My younger brother, and I were asked to go in front. And by this time, the bride already left the room temporarily to change into her kimono. So it was just the groom in the room now with the guests. So we were asked to go forward, my brother and I. And I said, okay, what is this? I wasn't told about, playing a certain role in the reception. So later on, the MC mentioned that we were being asked to escort my brother out of the room so that he could also change. It may seem like a very simple gesture, escorting my brother out of the room, but I felt so honored. I mean, for those who don't know, my brother and I are not whole brother sister. We're half brother sister, and we pretty much grew up separately. He grew up in London. I grew up in the Philippines. We have different mothers. Teary-eyed, but the sisterhood, brotherhood has always been strong. And crying early in the morning, ano ba? Has always been strong. And I was just that happy and proud to have just witnessed his wedding. And for me to be, to be handpicked, my brother and I, to be called to go in front and to hold his arm and to accompany him. To me, it meant so much because it was a sign of humility. Please support me. Please support me, though I am now head of a family. I can't do this alone. That's what I felt. And it was also, I think, a way of honoring us. Thank you for being my brother, my sister. So, Ryohi, thanks for doing that. And thanks for making it a surprise. Had you told me, I think it wouldn't have been the same impact. So, thank you for that honor. I could sense Kohei also, our younger brother, was really, really proud of that moment. Thanks for also honoring your brother. Our brother is a man of few words, but he he expresses himself in different ways, in a different way. And his smile during your wedding was just so pure and so beautiful. We're so proud of you. So thanks for that brief moment. Brief but uh, heartfelt, kimochi moment with you. So again, this wedding was really not just about the bride and the groom. Each and every person there had, parang we just felt so good that it was a feel-good wedding. Um, and I felt like everybody there, alam mo yun, minsan sobrang laki ng wedding. Sometimes weddings are so huge that the bride and the groom don't even get to share like a moment with their guests. Sometimes they don't even get to say hi to their guests, right? But this wedding, the size was just right. And everybody had their moment with the bride and the groom. And I was just but lucky to have had um, extra honor received from my brother and sister-in-law. Okay, I don't know what number, 6, 7, maybe number 6. Um, of course, the thank you speech that they gave to their parents, to my stepmom and my dad, and to Yuko's parents. This was an international audience, no? We had Japanese, we had English-speaking people, guests from the UK, from the Philippines, from Taiwan, from everywhere. So they had this challenge of saying their speech in both languages, right? And my brother, having grown up in the UK, speaks impeccable English. But the challenge was to speak informal Japanese. Japanese, no problem for him, conversational Japanese. But formal Japanese is another challenge. I can't do that. Even Ate cannot do that. And he did it so beautifully. Um, it was my first time for me to see my brother as a man. I'm used to seeing him as my little brother. But his speech was delivered with so much grace and composure and deep gratitude for his parents. First time for me to see him get emotional in front of so many people. And it was not even an ounce a sign of weakness. In fact, I saw him at his best when he said to his mother, "You are the best mother I could ever have. I will remember, all the obento, baonan, the food that you prepared for me growing up. Um, all these little details that sometimes we think children don't notice, and yet they grow up into an adult, and then they remember the little things that their mothers do for them. And it's rare for me to see feedback microphone upstairs. Students are already here. Uh, it's rare for me to see my stepmother get emotional, no? And she was really holding back her tears, but eventually she let it go. And I saw her also at her most beautiful, to see her son honor her in such a manner. Again, to the future brides and grooms out there, don't rush that process in thanking your parents, especially your moms. Waterworks. As in, I was taking a video and I just let my tears flow because it was such a beautiful moment. My stepmom has done, has made many sacrifices for her 3 boys, my 2 brothers and my dad included. So for her to have that moment was well deserved. And when my brother uh, honored my dad, there was a shift in his voice from emotional, sentimental to like honorable, dignified. And I could sense that my brother was really trying his best to make my dad proud. And Ryohei, I hope you know you did. Maybe it's not expressed. Ingay. Maybe it's not expressed verbally as freely and as often, but dad's proud. Hey everyone! Sorry it got cut this morning. Duty called. I had to go and accompany the students already. We started 15 minutes earlier than usual. The last thing I mentioned was about when he shifted to my dad. I mentioned that his his voice switched from an emotional tone to a voice that was dignified, honorable, straightforward, for my dad. And I've never seen my brother get teary-eyed speaking to my dad. And that got me all the more emotional, right? He said in English, I couldn't understand the Japanese part. I pray for your health. I'm concerned about your health. You need to live longer because you have to give me more opportunities and reasons to make you proud. And my dad being my dad, not very demonstrative and expressive. I just saw him bow his head. And as I always tell my brother, it may not always be expressed directly and as often as we would like, but our dad is proud. And in fact, in many ways, my brother has surpassed my dad. I don't know if my dad can take that, but he has. No, he has proven himself, especially now that he is head of the family. I'm really, really proud. He has surpassed my dad in many ways. But it doesn't take away the efforts or doesn't take away the value that my dad has in my life and in the lives of my brothers. It is through his leadership, it is through his, pushing us towards our dreams that we are who we are today, right? So that speech was beyond amazing. It wasn't even scripted. Yun yung maganda eh. Again, to the future brides and grooms, the best speech is really the speech from the heart. And my brother was concerned the night before, oh, I haven't prepared the speech yet. But I knew he had it together. He knew what to say. He spoke from the heart. And for a groom, for a man to speak from his heart, and with it came a lot of tears and a lot of emotions. That to me was like, whew, as in winner. No, as I said, first time for me to see my brother as a man. He's grown up already. he's not a little boy anymore. Makes me so proud to see him in his most honest, real, authentic self. Okay. What else did I appreciate? There's so many. I'm telling you, there are many. So if you're bored by now, let me know. You can exit. Well, in the Japanese wedding, it's not really, required, but they do have costume changes. No, here in the Philippines, we keep it simple. The brides have one white wedding gown, and the groom has barong or a suit, right? So we're used to that as Filipinos. We just keep it simple, one attire from start to finish. But in Japan, part of the celebration and what a lot of guests look forward to is the dress up, especially of the bride. And there was a wedding before I attended. There were many changes, like 7 changes, 7 dresses, right? But for Yuko, she kept it simple. One white gown, wedding gown, and then she left for a while, came back in a beautiful red kimono. Ryohei also came out in his Japanese attire. It's nice. There was even a game. So prior to as we entered the wedding, we were asked to choose what color her second dress would be. May game pang ganon. So there were little fluorescent, what do you call this, lights, neon lights that you break and you shake and then it lights up. They were there and we were asked to choose. There was blue, red, pink, yellow, green, whatever color. And so we were excitedly anticipating what she would come in, what dress she would come in. So she came in red and it was a good choice, good choice for her. Color of abundance and celebration and joy. So they entered and they looked again so comfortable in what they're wearing. I mean, I'm pretty sure that kimono must have been tight and heavy, but she again carried herself so well. My brother carried himself so well. He looked good. Kakui, very handsome. He looked really good. And that was towards the end of the wedding already, after all the thank you speeches. And then it ended with the couple approaching the door. And making their final bow. Long bow, full bow again. Nothing said except for that simple but beautiful gesture of thank you for coming, thank you for allowing us to be part, or thank you for bringing us together, thank you for sharing this momentous day. And they went outside, and it was our cue to also exit and thank them for inviting us. So ang ganda. I mean, most Western weddings have tubes and dancing after, but I mean, who needs that when the core and the essence of the wedding is really gratitude. Gratitude, thanksgiving, family, friends at its core, no? Frills aside, you know, parang all these decorations aside, you are left with people and relationships. So that's what I super appreciated. I felt like I was attending a retreat. Attending a retreat through a wedding, right? And I'm sharing this with you because who knows, there might be future brides and grooms out there who are also planning their weddings. You might want to consider these tips. You know, make your guests part of the celebration. Thank the people who brought you together, and sometimes less is more. And the best is really to speak from the heart. Our family is complicated. It's not the typical family. Adam's family nga, no? But it's my family, and it's perfect for me. So, to have had my mom there, to have had my dad, my stepmom, my brothers, and now I have a new sister-in-law. It reminds me of what truly is important in life, no? That money can't buy. And that wedding was one for the books. And to all of you there who watched, to those who are getting married, to those who are traveling, to those who will be spending time or need to spend more time with their families, I hope these two videos would also make you think and reflect on perhaps what you've been missing, or maybe revisit some things that need your attention.